My wife and I moved here to Greenville in 2008 after I took a job as a professor of music at Presbyterian College to direct their voice program. We love the fact that the city had a symphony, ballet, several theaters, but were surprised that Greenville had no opera company. In fact, there wasn't an opera company in all of South Carolina. Oh, I talk fast. So sitting on our couch in 2009, I had the brilliant idea to start an operetta company, thinking that producing light opera might be an accessible way to present classical vocal arts in Greenville. Being that Jenna was a professional music theater actor and director, and I was a professional opera singer, figured it'd be a good fit. So we formed Greenville Light Opera Works, or GLOW, with $700. At the time, we assumed we'd just find some local singers or call in favors from our professional friends in the business to perform with us. We had no idea that GLOW would soon become a breeding ground for nationally known Broadway talent, such as Chris Lee here, who just did Jefferson and Hamilton, who's in our production of The Wiz. We weren't just looking for pretty voices for GLOW. We needed first-rate actors, singers, who could also move and dance. We knew that we wanted to produce professional work that was active and engaging in order to fight the stigma that opera and operetta was kind of boring and stagnant. GLOW also wanted to break the stereotype that all professional singers had to look like Bugs Bunny and What's Opera Doc. We wanted to tell real stories about real people in real situations and fighting the large lady with the spear and magic helmet kind of trope. It soon became evident that we needed to produce not only just opera and operetta, but musical theater as well. After all, they come from the same roots. Why focus on just one of them? In 2013, we changed our name to GLOW Lyric Theater to reflect this. It was during this transitional time that we produced the opera La Boheme, along with its contemporary cousin, the musical Rent. Both productions shared a common source material, whereas La Boheme dealt with a woman dying of tuberculosis. Rent updated this to reflect the AIDS epidemic in the 1990s. Coincidentally, recent tragic HIV infection statistics had just come out for South Carolina. We knew that GLOW Lyric Theater could be utilized to present relevant stories that reflected the social and political climate here in South Carolina. The next year, as fate would have it, during our first day of rehearsals for The Wiz and The Hot Mikado, featuring predominantly African-American casts, Dylan Ruth walked into the Charleston AME Church in Charleston and murdered 9 people. Being able to create art that spoke to the understanding of our differences during this time proved to be extremely cathartic for cast and audience alike. We had solidified our mission. Theater needed to be accessible to everyone. Adults and children deserved to see people that looked like themselves on stage, telling stories that reflected their experiences. We paired with community organizations and gave away over 700 free tickets to Urban League day camps and even planned several low-cost family matinees. In 2015, we produced a season that spoke to immigration, West Side Story followed by Gounod's opera version of Romeo and Juliet, staged with the Montagues and Capulets representing both immigrants and nationalists in some sort of dystopian America. This sadly echoed sentiments that had been expressed by a particular candidate during the primaries that spring. We all know what happened that November. Before you think that we take ourselves a bit too seriously, we do realize that producing high-quality professional product with full orchestra, gorgeous costumes, and professional singers is what most people care about. Audiences want to be engaged and entertained and not just see the same old retreads of familiar pieces. Speaking of retreads, sometimes the most current issues can best be told through stories from our past. GLOW's 2017 hit production of the 1968 musical Hair touched a whole new generation of theatergoers and brought many back that remembered it from the first time around, including an original cast member who just happened to be in town. And then there was 2018. With GLOW's move from the Peace Center and McAllister Auditorium to the more intimate space of the Warehouse Theater, our season nearly sold out. Manuel Lin Miranda's story of first-generation immigrants in New York City's Washington Heights, sung by a cast of first-generation Americans, made In the Heights our biggest seller to date. Over the past 10 years, we've developed very important collaborative partnerships, both on and off the stage. We've collaborated with Carolina Ballet Theater, Greenville Ballet on the stage, and off stage we've collaborated with other nonprofits, such as the Hispanic Alliance, Urban League, Mosaic After School Programs, Generations Group Home, and the League of Women Voters, just to name a very few. In just a few years, Glow's Summer Festival of Lyric Theater grew from our $700 out of my checking account to almost $300,000 for this summer. We attract artists from everywhere, many who have performed at the largest opera houses in the world. This is all because of our dedication to our mission and commitment to excellence. It's not hanged us yet. What's the best part of seeing a Glow show? Well, it might actually be leaving. Leaving, you say? Well, that's crazy, but hear me out. We want you to leave and carry things with you. We want you to go for coffee and drinks and talk about what you saw. Debate, discuss, ponder. After all, that's what great art is all about. Producing opera and musical theater is very expensive. To hire talent, production designers, technicians, orchestral musicians requires a staff of well over 125 people every summer, not to mention our full year-round staff. We wanted to find another way to tell more intimate stories created by local singers, dancers, instrumentalists, and actors, so we created the Raising Voices series in 2015. The Raising Voice series works are all devised. In other words, they're created by the performers themselves. Glow presents them during the winter and spring for 1 to 3 night runs. Recent works have included the LGBTQ-themed Love is Love, Armed, which took on the problem of gun violence in South Carolina, and recently Her Story, an original musical speaking to the struggles of women in modern America. The Raising Voice series pairs with and even gives a percentage of its proceeds to our partner nonprofits. These partner organizations are able to raise awareness to their causes as well as participate in our post-show talkbacks. Recent partners have included Arm in Arm, Mothers Demand Action, Dining for Women, Concerned Citizens for Animals, Upstate Pride, and many more. Lyric theater is the medium through which Glow has grown to promote its social justice mission. Empathy is largely missing in today's society, and the performing arts hold a unique ability to foster that very emotion. Just like a muscle, we need to exercise this ability to connect to others. So come to the theater. Let there be more singing and less shouting.